$4,426.31. That is how much additional income I was able to generate last month as a social media content creator. Not to be confused with a social media influencer, because Lord knows I am really terrible about maintaining my own social media. A social media content creator for businesses. Now, the best thing about this is that it cost me pretty much $0 to get started. I had next to no experience, and it was even something that I found enjoyable. So in this video, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how you can get started as a social media content creator for businesses to generate a little income for yourself, maybe as a side hustle, or to transition yourself into the digital and creative space. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Ashley and I help ambitious women like you and me thrive in the creative and digital space. Remember how I told you guys how excited I was about reaching my $10,000 a month milestone? Well, I was able to do it again, and it's gotten a little crazier. So as you can see, my surrounding is a little different. I'm actually in Miami Beach and I've been here for 2 months working. My hotel has been paid for, my expenses, my food, you name it, and I'm here working. And the craziest part about all this for me is that I work as a server part-time 3 days a week in LA. So before you go saying that none of this is possible for you, think about that. My life looks very different right now than it did even a couple months ago. Now, to get back to you, maybe you just need a little change up for your 9 to 5. Let's face it, creating a social media empire sounds super glamorous and all that, but it can also sometimes feel like you're climbing Mount Everest in heels. The good thing about making money in social media is that the barrier to entry is super low, but in my experience, I would say that the hardest part is actually landing your first client. So this video is going to be all about that. I'm going to be sharing with you guys my simple 3-step strategy to signing on clients as a social media content creator. And if you stick around to the end of the video, I will share with you guys the number one thing that I do to add value that closes my clients. The first step is actually the secret sauce to this entire thing, and that is to become a value magnet. People don't hire strangers. They hire experts that they believe can solve their problem. So before you even go prospecting, trying to bring on anybody, think about the niche that you want to work in, whether it's travel, fashion, beauty, whatever it is. Think about that and decide what interests you most. This is going to prevent you from getting burnt out, especially in the beginning. You don't want to lose steam before you've even gained momentum. Once you decide what specific category you want to be in, pick a niche as far as your skill. So are you really great at making reels on Instagram or TikToks? Do you create really captivating captions? Or are you more visual? I'm really great at telling a visually captivating story. My particular area of expertise is products. But the key to being a value magnet is actually listening and taking in all of the information. And here's how you do that without being an expert in social media at all. If you're on social media or have access to a smartphone or a computer, then you know that those songs are trending or have been trending at one point. And that's because at its simplest form, a trend is nothing more than an emerging pattern. Just pick something that actually interests you, be able to spot those trends, and take it from there. There is an exception to this, and that is if you pick a community that's underserved, but it still has some kind of a higher value. For example, accounting or construction. These areas might be a little underserved because it's not really something that people are widely interested in unless there is a need that they're trying to satisfy. But the whole bottom line in all this is you want to pick something that interests you because you're more likely to pick up on things that don't work or areas that are opportunities for you to improve. Areas that you can create value for them. So once we've decided on our niche and what our forte is, we have to build our credibility. Ashley, how do you build credibility without actually having paying clients to do so? Okay, stop. You might not have a fancy agency backing you, but girl, you got the magic touch, because at the end of the day, nobody's gonna see what you see. No one is going to be able to create what you create. Even if you copy the exact same thing that somebody else makes, it's never going to be the same. That being said, showcase your skills by creating killer content. And the way that you do this for free is by creating those captions, creating those reels, and shooting that content that is relevant to the niche that you're working in. But what if I don't have somebody to do content for? What if I can't shoot? There are ways to create killer content without you actually having to physically go and do this for the business. But it may behoove you to do so, because at the end of the day, people don't want to hear how great they are. They want to see how great they are. They want you to show them. So if you have the opportunity to volunteer your time or your energy, definitely by all means do it. There is a tricky way to do this where you're actually getting paid for it. I'll share more about that with you a little later in the video, but to get back to what I'm saying, you can create killer content without having to actually go into the business and do it. You can use a plethora of free online resources to create content, whether it is chopping together reels, making posts, creating a mock feed, all using free assets that you can find online. Remember, content is king or queen in the digital world, so you have to be able to show rather than tell. All right, so now that you're a walking, talking encyclopedia of social media magic, it's time for them to cut the check, honey. What you're gonna need to do is craft an irresistible offer. This is probably the hardest thing because you have no idea what to charge for your services. And it was a little difficult for me to base my pricing as well, so I did my research. I tried to find other videos to see what they were charging in relation to what I was actually offering, and it was even more difficult because there just aren't a lot of people who talk about the pricing aspect of things. There's a project-based pricing, there is hourly-based, there is retainer-based, which is what I actually decided to do. I kind of morphed my business into that. One of the things that I did initially was actually look on Fiverr and Upwork to see what people were charging. You kind of have to see what they're offering as well and how that relates to what you're doing, and determine your pricing from there. The most important factor is to make sure that it's pricing that you believe is fair for you. If I'm honest with you, everybody on Fiverr and Upwork were charging way less than what I charge. At the end of the day, you have to find out what pricing is fair for you. The funny thing about my first clients is they didn't actually sign with me right away. Don't get me wrong, they loved everything that I did for them when it was free. But then when it came down to discussing pricing, it became this game of, well, what if we take away this? And what if we add this? What if we only do this many hours of work versus that? How much can we? It just became this game of let's chip away at what you're offering to get what we want for the cheapest possible price. And to be honest, by the time we got there, it just didn't sit right with me. Ultimately, it kind of blew over. Until a month later, when they decided to give me a call and offer me what I was actually asking for initially without even trying to negotiate. I say all of this to say, do not settle, okay? If you believe that a certain price for what you're offering is fair, as long as you know that you are providing quality with what you're doing and you can fully stand behind that, then stand behind your pricing. 3 of the 5 clients that I have initially didn't sign on right away. Some of them tried to do the content and mimic what I was doing. Others tried to get it cheaper elsewhere and it didn't work out. And that's because the quality of your work will speak for itself. When it comes to pricing, it's really subjective. You have to decide what is worth your time, your energy, and your effort. If they decide that they want to go a different direction, that's okay. At the end of the day, you still have something else that's added to your portfolio that you can show the next client who does see your value and who will pay that price. Congratulations, you pretty much made it to the end of the video. Now, I know I told you guys if you made it to the end, I would share with you guys the number one thing that I do that allows me to close clients. And one of the best things about it is that it adds value without me actually having to physically be there. Drumroll, please. I add digital products to a platform that my clients can use. I just send them a welcome email, thanking them for signing on, asking them to give me any feedback on the content that I've created for them or what I've sent them. And then also there is a link to a website that I've built that houses digital products for them to be able to use for their content. So these are Canva templates, examples of captions that they can use that are industry specific. And the reason why I created this was freelance clients constantly asking me how to upload their videos, how to edit them, what they should use use to edit these things for free, such as CapCut, Canva, all that stuff. So basically what I did was I made a really cute little ebook with information from the frequently asked questions that I was getting from clients. Keep in mind, I was doing freelance work as well, and a lot of the people I was freelancing for and doing more social media stuff like making captions, making reels, and that sort of stuff, these people weren't very skilled with using a camera and using their camera phone and creating social media content in general. So that's where a lot of these questions came from. That's where some of the templates came about. And basically what I did was I went on System.io so that I could create a listing store for digital products. In this case, the digital products are free. But this is something that I think that ultimately will allow me to scale my business, because not only will it allow me to gain more clients, but it's also going to be something that as the database of these products and these resources grows, it's something that I can offer as a supplement to what I'm already doing. So maybe if somebody doesn't want to sign on with me right away as a client, really what this is me kind of cornering this market of people that doesn't sign on with me, because I can still send that welcome email. I can still send them that link with something like this ebook that's free, but then I can also maybe offer a monthly subscription or a flat rate for them to download these templates that I'm offering. All things that add value, but they also add value into my bank account. That is the number one thing that I do to add value for my clients. But another thing that you can do to add value for yourself and for your clients is when you do work for free, actually charge for it, but offer it at a promotion. Basically, once you have the pricing in mind of what you want to charge, offer it at a promotional rate. So maybe that first shoot that you're doing, or maybe those first posts that you're doing, you're giving it to them at the promotional rate of $0 to them, but maybe the value of that is $200 or $300. By having it in writing and sending them something that thanks them and says, this is what you ordered, this is the value of what it actually is, and a $0 total at the bottom. The brilliant part about this and what's worked out for me is that they're seeing how much the work that I'm creating for them actually is valued at. Now, when you offer your product or your service for X amount of money, they're not going to be sticker shocked by it because they've already seen the promotional value of what you've offered them pro bono. And there you have it. That is my simple 3-step strategy. Step 1. Pick a niche so that you can prospect for clients. Step 2, build your credibility by actually doing that work. Put it into practice, because not only will you get better, but then you'll have something to show for it. And step 3, craft a great offer priced at what you believe is fair for what work you are creating. Ultimately, it's going to be a numbers game. Some people are not going to think that what you're offering is worth it to them yet. But I promise you, if you stick to your guns and you stay committed and keep yourself accountable, you will hook that first client, and that's gonna snowball into many, many more. So thank you guys so much for joining me in this video. If you liked this video and got anything out of it, I would love to hear about how it maybe helped you and offered some perspective in the comments. And also don't forget to like it. That way, we can keep growing. And then you can stay tuned for my next video about how I ended up in Miami for the last 2 months with all of my expenses paid, stepping into the dream life that I've known that I've deserved for so long. And you can have that too. And it's all thanks to 3 changes that I've made this year that I plan on sharing with you guys in that next video. So I'll see you guys there.